going.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults.
And beer.
And beer.
And beer.
Beer. That's Todd.
And that's Bill.
Just two crazy Florida men.
He's that way.
Yeah. Drinking beer, talking true crime. Because why the hell not?
Why the hell not?
Just makes it a little crazier coming from two crazy Florida men.
Yes.
So, and that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
Absolutely.
And we're not monotone.
Yeah, that's not ever going away.
Nope. Sorry, T. Marie, but not sorry.
Not sorry.
So, what are you drinking?
Rum and Coke in my powder blue sippy cup, because that's all I had. I drank my beers before I took a nap.
Do you remember how much a 12-pack of Bud Light was back in the 90s?
No, I don't.
Around $9.99.
Okay.
I just paid $10.99 for a 12-pack today.
All right.
So keep protesting, people. Please. Let's get it back down to $9.99 or even $8.99.
Right.
And you, in the 90s, you could even find them every now and then for $7.99. So yeah, let's drive it down to that.
It's going to be the same price as like fucking Natty Light.
It'll be more expensive, or it'll be less expensive than Natty Light.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everything's kind of expensive nowadays. Jesus.
Yeah. So keep protesting. Oh, they're going to give free beer away on the 4th of July with a rebate. Free with a rebate. So they're counting on people not sending in, being too drunk and throwing out the rebate.
Forgetting about it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Not grabbing it. Yeah. No shit. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's funny as hell.
So, I guess it's kind of fitting that, well, no, never mind. I was going to say it's kind of fitting that this episode is going to be coming out around the 4th of July, but it'll be the following weekend because we've got the Gotti episode coming out next, which I hope you guys enjoyed that because that was fun.
Yeah.
Vic is awesome. I can't wait to have him on the show again. Just got to come up with another mafia story, I guess.
Yeah, Vic's cool. I like him. He has a lot of like insight that we wouldn't get. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I'd probably go so far as to say that our episode about John Gotti is probably going to be one of the best ones on, out there because of Vic.
Because of Vic, not because anything we did.
Right. So yes, if you haven't listened to that one, go back and listen to it. So
yeah, right.
It's awesome. Well, listen to both of the, Sammy Gravano and John Gotti.
Why not?
So, did you hear that Netflix is adding Titanic to, bringing back Titanic to their platform?
Are they really?
Yeah. That's stupid, don't you think?
Well, yeah, especially after what just happened.
Yeah, I know. That's the only reason they're doing it. Oh, let's bring back Titanic. People might want to watch it. I've seen that movie one time.
One's all you need.
Yeah. And one particular scene multiple times.
Even though that wasn't her, but yeah.
It wasn't her?
It might have been. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I saw that movie in the theater.
I didn't see it in the theater.
I didn't realize that he was actually going to sink the Titanic in real time. That's why that movie's so long.
Oh, that was intentional?
I don't know, but he did it. I mean, dude, it took the Titanic, a relatively short amount of time to sink.
Yeah.
However, the part when it hit the ice, from the time it hit the iceberg till it actually sank was like real time of how long it took, or at least it felt like it.
Oh, wow.
But when you're sitting in them, and this was back when they didn't have the comfy movie theater chairs. You had, you were sitting in them god awful uncomfortable chairs. I sat in that for what, 3.5, 4 hours?
Yeah. When I saw Bruce Dickinson do a stand up thing. It was at the old Tampa Theater and still had the fucking chairs in it from the 50s. He did an intermission and then he was going to come back and do Q&A, but I'd left. I could not sit in those fucking chairs anymore. My hip was killing me. I was so uncomfortable. But it was I wish I could have stayed because I had never been to like a speaking engagement like that, but it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Right on. Cool.
So if you ever get a chance to go see one, I would. I'd go see him again just as long as it's not in the Tampa Theater.
Right.
I'm never going to the Tampa Theater again. I was my hips hurting just thinking about it.
Right on.
So
well, not right on, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So all this Titanic talk is I'm not digressing here. This has to do with our episode today. So
kinda, but yeah,
kinda. So I've never understood, the fascination that people have with the sinking of the Titanic. It's never made any sense. It's a ship. It sank. Big deal. I mean, and you got people like buying all like. There's probably just as much Titanic merchandise out there as there is Star Wars.
Yeah, there could be.
I remember that blue necklace, that blue diamond thing or whatever.
Yeah.
They came out with one with like a little piece of plastic or a piece of glass in a little thing with fake things. And I remember this TV commercial for it. It's just like, this woman's wearing one and she is acting all, like cool. And her friend goes, "Whoa, is that a Titanic Blue Heart jewel necklace?" And the one, yes, it is a Titanic Blue Heart jewel necklace.
Well, yes,
wow,
it is.
How can it must have cost a fortune? No, it was only $19.99. I want to get my own Titanic Blue Heart jewel necklace.
That's funny. Dude, you're bringing up the Titanic here as I do. We could do a whole episode on just the conspiracy theories around the Titanic.
Yeah, we could.
Anyway, but that's for a different show.
So it's like, okay, the submersible sub that should never have been in the water in the first place, it crumpled up, and James Cameron, he even said, he's just like, when I heard that first audio, it just, the ship, it imploded right then and there. Like he knew right then that that's what happened.
Oh yeah.
So he, and now all of a sudden everybody's, it's Titanic this, Titanic that, Titanic this, Titanic that. And number one, the Titanic wasn't even a United States registered ship.
Yes, that's true.
And number two, it didn't sink in U.S. waters. Number three, the majority of the people on board were not Americans. And so it's like everybody's, to me, there's other maritime disasters that are more worthy of our time as Americans. And, and specifically, the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yes. I was going to say that if you didn't.
Did they ever find that?
Oh, yeah, they did.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah.
But the Edmund Fitzgerald and our topic for tonight, the USS Indianapolis.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's like, okay, you know what? Everybody's going, creaming the jeans over Titanic again. So I just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do the Indianapolis because to me, that's a more compelling story. That's a more, I mean, yeah, they delivered the atom bomb and paid for it with their lives.
Yeah, they did.
So
anyway,
so to hell with the Titanic. I mean, not to mention the fact that it was, over 100 years ago, the Titanic.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't understand the obsession that people have with the Titanic. There's a Titanic museum in Gatlinburg or in Pigeon Forge.
Yeah. it's.
I mean, I can understand. I can understand having a Titanic tourist attraction, but in the Smoky Mountains,
yeah, that's a weird place for it.
I mean,
it's definitely a weird place to have that.
Yeah, outside of a like a coastal, a city with a port, St. Augustine, I can see it being there. Charleston, I can see it being there. Savannah, I can see it being there. But all these places that have big ports and everything, I can see it being there. Yeah. The only other place that's kind of landlocked that I could see having it would be Las Vegas. But the Great Smoky Mountains?
Yeah, I know. That's just weird.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't get that. Anyway,
enough Titanic bashing.
Yes.
I'm not bashing the Titanic. I'm bashing the obsession over it.
Yes, we're not. Yeah, the people lost their lives, and that's nothing. We're not making fun of that or nothing.
No,
it's just this crazy obsession with a sunken ship. I don't get it, but hey, it is what it is.
Yep. So the USS Indianapolis, and I learned a lot doing the research on this. This is an interesting story. It's a lot more interesting than what I had originally knew. I was thinking quick, short episode. Man, this is going to be an average length episode.
All right.
Not as long as our short Patreon episodes.
Oh yeah.
We recorded a short Patreon episode after we got done doing the Gotti episode, and it wound up being longer than the Gotti episode.
Yes, it did. Yeah, we got carried away, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. So, it was a heavy cruiser for the U.S. Navy, and it was launched in 1931. It was a command ship during World War II under Admiral Raymond Spruance. And in 1943 and 44, it commanded the Fifth Fleet battles in the Pacific Ocean during World War II. It was even a VIP, luxury cruise line for President Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh, right on.
So he took several trips, across the Pacific in the Indianapolis.
Cool. I did not know that.
I didn't either. So, in July of 1945, the Indianapolis completed a mission that was so top secret, the crew didn't even know what it was. They were to deliver uranium and other components for the atomic bomb Little Boy, which is the first bomb that was ever used in a war on Hiroshima. They were to deliver this to the Tinian Naval Base, which they did, but then they were to head to a base in the Philippines. And this happened relatively quickly after the test in New Mexico, which my grandfather was present at.
Oh,
he was there.
Wow.
And strangely enough, that wasn't a memory that he cherished. Yeah, he's just like, we had no idea what the hell we were getting into.
I could imagine.
So it's almost, when he was telling me, and I've asked some of my aunts and uncles if they knew that, and he's like, no. So apparently I'm the only person that he told. And this is before he started losing his mind.
All right.
So I believe him. That man never lied to me once. But so yeah, he was there. But this happened shortly after that successful test. So at 12:15 a.m. on July 30th, the Indianapolis was torpedoed by a Japanese sub and sunk. There were 1,195 crewmen on board, and only 316 survived. Around 300 of them went down with the ship, and then around 890 men were in the water, facing dehydration, saltwater poisoning, the sun, and what else?
Sharks.
Yep. So there were very few lifeboats because, Indianapolis went down quickly. They didn't have enough time to deploy the lifeboats.
Yeah.
The Navy didn't learn of the sinking until 4 days later when survivors were spotted by a plane on patrol. The mission was so top secret that nobody even knew that the Indianapolis was on a mission and was late coming back from it.
Mm-hmm.
This was the greatest loss of life at sea from a single ship in the history of the U.S. Navy. And on December 20th of 2018, the crew of the Indianapolis were collectively awarded a Congressional Gold Medal.
All right.
So prior to this mission, the Indianapolis had been hit by a kamikaze airplane. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
It had taken intense damage, but a month later it was repaired and good as new. Now, one of the design flaws of these ships in that class was there were weight limits. You could either go heavy on the weaponry or heavy on the armor. And you couldn't have both because you would be overweight.
Mm.
Which that's just military intelligence. Two words combined that can't make sense.
Yep. And we brought Dave Mustaine into this.
So the Indianapolis was gun heavy.
Oh, so I thought you were going to say it was both. But all right.
No, it was gun heavy. That's why the ship rolled.
Okay.
Before it went down.
All right.
Because it was top heavy.
Yeah, I got you.
So, it had been chosen to deliver the parts of the bomb. The uranium and other components were in a lead crate that would be welded to the deck. And there were orders saying that if anything should happen to the ship, that the box was to be put into a lifeboat before anything or anyone else.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, see, that's how much you mean to us, guys.
Yeah. Well, it was to end the war.
Basically. Well, I know that, but still.
Yeah. But the U.S. needed to complete a nuclear bomb before Russia or Germany did, because whoever got the bomb first was going to win the war. And can you imagine what would have happened if Hitler had gotten a hold of a nuke? And he was working on it too.
Oh yeah, he was. Well, dude, he had all the rockets, dude. He had them. What were the V2s?
The V2.
Mm-hmm. Dude, we'd have been done. We'd have never, and back then we'd have never seen it coming. I mean, it would have been, by the time we saw it, it'd have been too late.
Yeah. I mean, well, they would have he would have obliterated London first.
Dude, he launched a bunch of V2s at London, but yeah, I know. I mean, but
he would have nuked London.
Oh yeah. London. Well, if he only had one, he would have probably sent it to us. But it is what it is.
Yeah, true.
I mean, like, just,
But by this time, he had already offed himself. So
yeah,
Germany and Italy were already, eliminated from contention.
They were taken off the playing field.
Yeah. So, in the weeks leading up to the bombing of Hiroshima,
You got it in 5.
And Nagasaki, the U.S. had been in talks with Japan, not only about unconditional surrender, but they had to become a democracy, basically dissolving the imperial rule.
Uh-huh.
And it was a poison pen negotiation because the U.S. knew that Japan would never agree to those terms. So, but there was method to that madness because they had to use the bombs to prove a point. And the point is, don't fuck with us.
Yeah. God. Yeah, that right there is probably the first ever instance of fuck around and find out.
Yeah. But they knew it, but they had to use the bomb. They had to use it because if we've got them. It's kind of like, yeah, I've got a gun. It's locked in my car 2 miles away from here, but I've got one and I'll use it. I'll go get it. I'll go get it. So,
yeah.
So yeah, they had to use the bomb. So, fresh out of repairs, the Indianapolis sets off to Tinian with their cargo, and the sailors were taking bets on what they were carrying. You know, they had no clue. The one made a guess. It said that case was full of like scented quilted toilet paper for General MacArthur. So from San Francisco to Pearl Harbor, the Indianapolis was at full speed, and they made the trip in 72 hours, which was a record to make that trip.
Damn.
And I believe it still is. It's still standing for a ship that size.
Yeah. I mean, wow. I don't even know what to say. I mean, especially back then, dude.
Yeah, that is fast.
I mean, that was a diesel boat, right? They didn't have nuclear powered boats back.
No. I mean, and that's something we're gonna get to too. It's the fuel.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and you fucking ran a big ass diesel fucking ship like that. Wow. All right, that's amazing. I'm like, yeah. I'm dumbfounded by that. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So, they got to the Tinian and they anchored, and a barge came out to get the cargo. It was too small for them it was too shallow for them to sail into the port there. Mm-hmm. So they then left Tinian and went to Guam to get supplies, and Captain Charles McVay received orders to go to Leyte in the Philippines. Now,
that's because there's nothing going on in Guam.
Yeah.
Sorry. But, I had to.
The Navy rules state that a ship that size in enemy waters must have a destroyer escort. But, that was denied for this trip. They were told they didn't need one. They were told there are no Japanese subs in the area where you're going. No, it's like freaking Baghdad Bob over here.
Baghdad Bob. All right.
No, but this little tidbit of information is infuriating though because of what happens.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
I mean, it's just like we'll get to that.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We'll get there. So, but that wasn't even true because a destroyer had just been sunk in that exact area just 2 days prior.
No. Well, there you go.
They just didn't feel like sending an escort, or maybe they didn't have any available or whatever, but still.
Or they were trying to get rid of the evidence.
Well, the evidence was about to be dropped over Hiroshima.
You know what I mean. No loose ends. No loose ends.
The first rule of an assassination is
kill the assassin.
There you go.
I mean, I know I didn't say it right, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but still. Nobody told McVay about the destroyer getting torpedoed, and the Indianapolis was actually logged as having arrived at the port at the Philippines, even though it wasn't there.
Okay. See, I'm smelling Coverup. Just saying.
But there was a sub, and they were looking for American ships to hit. But late that night, they weren't. You know, the Indianapolis crew. I mean, the Indianapolis didn't have sonar. It had surface and air radar. It didn't have sonar, and surface radar is not going to be able to pick up a periscope sticking out of the water.
No.
So, especially at night. Well, night wouldn't make any difference with radar, but still.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. Yeah.
But I wonder if McVay liked coffee when he was watching radar. Got one.
Yeah, there it is.
So,
Spaceballs.
Yeah. But they at 12:15 a.m. the Indianapolis was hit with 2 torpedoes on her starboard side. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, I'm just going to set it straight. Starboard means right.
Yes.
Port means left.
You know the easiest way. You know the easy way to remember that. You sound like you were just going to say it.
Yeah, left has 4 letters, just like port.
Just like port. Yeah. Even though starboard has more letters than right, but yeah, that's what I was told that a long time ago. I don't even remember why.
So, 6 torpedoes were fired, and we're going to get into why only 2 of them connected. Toward the end of the episode, there's a reason for that.
All right.
And 1 hit at the bow and 1 hit amidship. And this sub was commanded by Commander Hashimoto.
Got into.
I gave up on the first name.
Well, technically, in Japanese, the first name is their last name, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me. I think that's how it is. Don't hold me to that. I thought it was that.
Well, he had initially thought that he was stalking the New Mexico class battleship, the Idaho.
Oh.
But the Indianapolis rolled over, like I said, because it was top heavy. And then the stern rose into the air and it went under. And it only took 12 minutes from the torpedo hit to the time when the Indianapolis went down.
Damn.
And there's some survivors that say I didn't jump in the water, I stepped into the water.
Wow. Oh my God.
So I mean, she went down quick. Yeah. But in a short bit of time that the Indianapolis was above water, lots of sailors were burned to death. Many sailors didn't abandon ship because no order had come through to do so. And the reason for that was because the ship's internal communications had been knocked out. But nobody had realized that at the time other than Captain McVay.
Oh, man.
So so he's up there on the bridge and everything. He's trying to figure out what to do and everything. And he can't, what's he going to do? Abandon ship!
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay, the nearest 20 people to you is going to hear you, and the rest of them
pass it along, abandoned ship.
Yeah. And then by the time it gets to him, it'll be like, ham and chips. What?
We're already underwater? What happened?
Ham and chips? That sounds good. I want some ham and chips.
Yeah, right.
But that's not what we're talking about right now. The ship is sinking.
Yes. Well,
Oh man. So, it was chaos, and many sailors wanted to grab life vests, but the officers were saying, no, you can't grab the life vest until you get the order to abandon ship.
Oh, dude, that reminds me of that movie Heartbreak Ridge.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yeah. Dude, all right, this is it. We're going to war. Here, fill out this paper to get night vision goggles that you should already have because, oh, Jesus. All right. Anyway, I digress a little bit there.
Well, Captain McVay was court-martialed for this, specifically not for not giving the order to abandon ship. But even if he yelled at the top of his lungs, nobody would have heard him due to explosions, the sounds of the ship breaking apart. But sailors just basically began, grabbing life vests anyway.
Yeah. Fuck you, dude. You. Give me that. I'm out of here.
There was one Marine captain telling the sailors not to jump over, but people are just like, fuck you. Geronimo!
Dude, the captain goes down with the ship. I don't have to. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Nowhere does it say a private first class has to go down with the ship, even though I know that's Army and not Navy, but whatever. You know what I mean?
But once the Indianapolis had started to roll, there wasn't anybody staying on board.
Yeah.
And McVay, this is Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Why didn't I remember this?
Oh no.
McVay, it's something you said. McVay did tell people to abandon and to pass the word.
He did, really? Holy shit.
Yes. That's why I'm like, oh shit, why the hell didn't I remember that one in the notes?
Oh, that's great. He did tell him to pass it along. Psst, abandoned ship. Pass it along.
What? Ham and chips?
Yeah, the last guy. Dude, we don't have time to eat. The boat's sinking. Holy shit. Oh, God, dude. We're just being us, but, we're not being disrespectful. We're having a little fun.
Yeah. So, most of the sailors who did jump, they landed in oil because the ship was hemorrhaging. The ship was erect and people were still falling off of it, and finally it went down and the propellers were still spinning, and I did not word it like that intentionally. The ship was erect and people were still falling off of it. Finally it went down. I did not do that intentionally.
Oh God, yeah. The ship was erect and seamen were going everywhere.
Seamen was going everywhere, and then finally it went down.
Oh, we're going to hell for this one, dude. We are so going to hell for this one. You know what? Me and you better stay off boats for the rest of our lives.
No shit.
Because we just screwed the pooch on that one by saying that.
So there were 890 people in the water, and they were spreading apart, and most of the wounded died within the first 8 hours, and lots of sailors didn't know. Some of the sailors didn't even know how to swim. That's probably not a good idea if you're joining the Navy.
Yeah. Yeah. How does that happen? Well, okay, it was a different time, I guess.
Yeah, and I
don't know.
It's not like freaking Titanic where the ship is unsinkable. It's not, the ship is unsinkable. All of these ships in the Navy. Hell. Oh, and the only reason you know why Indianapolis wasn't destroyed at Pearl Harbor, because it would have been if it had been there. It was parked. It was docked in Honolulu.
Oh.
It was somewhere else. I ran across that in the research, and I didn't for whatever reason I didn't include it. But there's other little tidbits about Indianapolis that I'm going to get to as well. And if I don't have that in the notes, then I'll just say it from memory. So
yeah, we know how well that goes.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
So, some people were on rafts that quickly filled up, leaving the others in the water to drown once they ran out of energy. And some sailors died due to starvation. Others died due to madness, from drinking salt water.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were all getting baked during the day, some to the point of heat stroke. There were no clouds in the sky, and the sun was literally reflecting off of the water and being amplified.
Oh yeah.
So their skin was shriveling up, and in some cases coming off due to being in the sun and salt water. We're not meant to be in salt water for extended periods of time.
Dude, humans aren't meant to be in water at all.
Yeah.
If we were meant to be in water, dude, we'd still have gills and flippers.
But at night it got cold. Yeah, so it's some people would get hypothermia at night. It was literally the most intense of both scenarios. It was the most intense representation of both extremes. Oh, it's like, okay, it's freaking hot out here. I need the sun to go down. Oh shit, now I'm freezing. I need the sun to come back up. Oh shit. That's going to have a psychological effect on you as well.
Oh yeah.
This was hard. This situation was hell.
Oh, no doubt, dude. No doubt.
And we're not even, but that's not even the worst of this, and we're not even to the sharks yet. Yeah,
I know, right?
Some sailors began to hallucinate. Some thought that they saw a ship in the distance or an island, and they began swimming towards it. And then there, of course, was no ship or no island, and those people were never seen again.
Yeah.
Other types of hallucinations, sailors, they began to think that each other were Japanese soldiers or even sea monsters, and they would fight each other.
Oh, man.
They would also get into pack mentality and fight each other over food. What little bit of food that was there.
Well, yeah, that happens in extreme situations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
man. Well, they wouldn't have lasted more. Another day, and they probably would have all died. And that's just you can't survive, and you can't survive the sun and the salt water for that long. Never mind the sharks.
Yeah.
But there were others that was these reports comes from survivors, and I'd love to get one of the survivors, on our podcast to do a survivor episode. That would be intense.
Yeah.
But
dude, that was so long ago. Are there any left?
Yeah, there's not many, but I mean,
yeah. Okay.
There are still some that are with us. But they would think that the Indianapolis was still afloat, but it was sinking. So they would dive down into the water thinking they'd be able to get fresh water from the galley, and of course they were never seen again.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's oh man. I can't even imagine what that was like, dude. I can't even imagine.
No, if there was a
what that was like, oh my God.
If there was a if there was a situation like let's say that this took place in let's say there was a ocean or a sea or something like that was fresh water, which there isn't, but let's just say for argument's sake there was. If this had happened in fresh water, they would have lasted a hell of a lot longer. But it would have delved into like a Donner Party type situation.
Yeah. Oh, bull sharks can be in fresh water, so there still would have been sharks.
Yeah, that's true. This is true. Bull sharks and tiger sharks. It's mainly what it was bull sharks and tiger sharks.
Yeah.
But get ready. After a couple of days, the life vests got waterlogged and began to sink. And they weren't designed to be in the water for a prolonged amount of time.
$1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer. You know that when you're in the water, Chief? You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. What we didn't know was our bomb mission had been so secret, no distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. It was kind of like old squares in the battle, like you see in the calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was shark comes to the nearest man, that man he starts pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you, and those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red, and Despite all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in and they rip you to pieces.
We're back.
And we're back.
The water was crystal clear, and you could literally see the sharks swimming around underneath you. And they had been there the entire time, but they had been content to eat the dead people at first. But when that supply was gone, that's when the survivors they started getting grabbed and pulled under. So like Quint said, they would try to bunch up in groups close to each other, thinking that the sharks were something much larger. And that didn't work. It would be dead silent, and all of a sudden you'd hear a scream, a splash, and then silence again. And then cans of Spam began floating up from the Indianapolis. And unfortunately, apparently sharks like Spam.
Sharks do like Spam.
I do like Spam. What? I don't think
I was just going to go, but I don't like Spam.
I don't like Spam. Sharks do.
Dude, how can you not like Spam? I don't get that, dude. Spam is fucking the bomb. Spam. Anyway.
Should I throw that one in there again?
If you want to.
We already did it once.
Yeah, we already did it. That's not
and then we had like 2 minutes of Quint speech that I hope we don't get copyright claimed on. But we shouldn't, because it had the voice over the top of the music, so it should be all right.
Yeah, it should be. You never know.
Never know. But
YouTube might have a different view on it, but we'll see what happens. Dude, okay. if YouTube says we have to, I'll just take that part out and re-upload it, dude. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Okay. So, but unfortunately, opening those cans attracted sharks. But really, Spam is salty. It has kind of an elevated sodium level.
Well, you know what Spam stands for, right?
No.
Well, they called it Spam because it's spiced ham.
Oh, okay.
And and I'm sure a lot of the spice they used was salt.
Yeah.
I love Spam.
And then you got that guy that, the last person to go in the water, it's like, oh, now you bring up the ham and chips.
But I only see Spam. Where's the chips?
I only see Spam. Where's the chips? Chips and water line. All of a sudden a potato pops up.
Yeah, right. Jesus. Anyway.
But so they start opening the cans of Spam and then throwing them out, like as far as they can. Maybe the shark will, go after it.
There you go. That's thinking.
That is thinking.
Especially when you've been through the hell that you've just been through. That's somebody was using their head.
Yeah. So
because I never would have thought of that. There's no way I would have thought, dude, open these cans and throw them away from us and draw the sharks away from us. I'd just be like, dude, give me that.
Well, what happened was they started eating them and then just like chunking the can into the water, and that attracted the sharks. Like Quinn said, especially if they were tigers, dude. Tigers eat anything. Yeah. So then
tigers and bulls, they'll eat any fucking thing.
So then they somebody got their idea. Just open them and throw them as far as you can with the meat in it.
Yeah.
Because if you throw an empty can, it's not going to go very far.
It wasn't my best toss.
Yeah. So
anyway.
So the sailors, once the sharks really started becoming an issue, the sailors began pushing the dying or bleeding people away from them. And almost, only 300 of the almost 900 people who went into the water survived, and it's believed that that at least 25% of those deaths were shark attack victims. And this is the worst shark attack in the history of the world.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't go in the water.
I don't go in the water either.
Dude, they say you have more chance of being like struck by lightning or winning the lotto than you do being attacked by a shark. But you know what? I don't want to be some shark's dinner, so I'm just going to stay on the land.
I do know somebody that's been struck by lightning, and you probably know this guy too. But I have been stalked by a shark. That happened when I was a kid, and I really haven't been in the water since. I don't blame you. I've only been in the water like twice since then, and both times involved alcohol and a naked woman. So, and
it was probably at night too, wasn't it?
At night.
Yeah, when sharks feed. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Brilliant. But so I know somebody that has been hit by lightning. I have been stalked by a shark. Circled.
Yeah.
Okay, let's complete the trifecta. I have to win the lottery.
It's time to win the lotto. Oh, Jesus. Yep. Anyway.
So the Indianapolis had sent 3 distress signals. Well, 3 distress signals were sent. From the time of the hit to when it went under. One signal was ignored because the general was drunk and said, "Nobody better wake me up."
Okay.
Another was ignored because they thought it was a Japanese trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. Damn it. It's a trap. But also a message from Commander Hashimoto was intercepted and decoded. Once again, this was ruled to be a trap. So, Hashimoto was reporting it. I just took out a ship. So, but Hashimoto had gone the entire war and he did not have a ship, a sinking. And it wasn't that he was bad at his job. It's just that he had bad luck, like, bad weather and stuff like that. He was actually a very good commander, and McVay was one of the better captains in the Navy as well. Mm. So, we're dealing with two very capable commanders here. But I mean, but he reported it in. It was like, I just took out the ship, and yay me, I'm Hashimoto, yay.
I finally got one. Do you think his own people believed him?
I think so, because I watched a documentary doing the research on this. It's Indianapolis: The Legacy, and it's just it's basically the story from start to finish told by the survivors. It's really good. Okay. That's where a lot of the research on this comes from, is that and other sources. But I do think that his crew believed in him.
Well, yeah, they didn't have a choice.
Well, yeah, but we'll get to why.
I mean, dude, Hashimoto's crew, if they didn't believe in him, they would get killed, or they'd have to kill themselves. I mean, dude, that's
right.
You know what I mean? Anyway, not the point. Moving on.
Yeah, but he was a good.
But you know what? You know what I was saying though, right? Like, did his own people believe him? Like, dude, this is like near the end of the war, and he hasn't got anybody yet, and he's finally just radios in, "I got one." Dude, you're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. How'd you get one?
And
I don't believe you.
And he didn't realize that it was the Indianapolis. Like I said, he thought it was the Idaho because of the size of the thing and the fact that it didn't have an escort. So he thought that he was taking on a battleship. And the Indianapolis, it was similar to a battleship, especially the way they had it decked out with all his guns and everything.
All the guns, yeah.
But so that's a easy, you look at it through this periscope, especially at night, you see the outline. It's about the same size as a battleship, and you can see, it's
got all them guns on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but still, Indianapolis should have had an escort, but an escort wouldn't have done anything. And I'm saving that toward wherever I have it in the notes. But, cause it's a really interesting tidbit of information that I did not know. So, okay. On the 4th day of the sailors being in the water, a plane came by, and and the sailors were in the water, thrashing around and like trying to make noise and everything, just like, hey. He radioed back, and then a seaplane came flying through the area, who spotted the people in the water, and he landed. He reported it, but the sailors were spread out over 20 miles.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. And this guy was ordered not to land. Well, not to water.
Yeah. Not to water. I don't know. Do they really call it that?
No.
Does a seaplane water, or does it land in the water?
Right.
I never thought about that. Okay, that's a new one.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey,
that's a good one.
If you know the answer to that, let us know on socials or whatever. Just let us know, because we're curious. Does a seaplane water, or does it land?
Yeah. And
I'm being serious too. I want to know.
Yeah, no shit, dude. I never even thought about that. Like that.
But the pilot was ordered not to land, but he could see all the sharks, because we're from Florida. You take a helicopter ride along the beach, and you see all those shadows. Every single one of those shadows is a damn shark.
Mm-hmm. It would terrify you if you come to Florida and go in the beach to see how close all these sharks are to you.
Oh yeah, they are constantly around you. I mean, you don't even know it.
Yep, they're like 30 feet away from you,
or less
at any given time,
or less. But but so he could see the sharks in the water, and he also witnessed people being eaten by sharks. So he told the officers, the people that told him not to land, to fuck off.
I'll take the court martial.
Yeah, but he lands and everything, and he gets as many people as he can into the plane with him, and then but there's other people. Sailors are starting to swim toward the thing. They're getting picked off by sharks and everything. So it's just like, fuck it. It's just like, get up on the floats, or get up on the wings and everything. And he's like strapped these people down to the wings and the stuff with a parachute. He just basically chopped up a parachute to tie them down. And then they tried to take off, and they couldn't take off because they couldn't take off for a couple reasons. One, the weight of all the people that was on it. Yeah. And for two, there were rough seas when he landed. So when he landed, the ship, the plane took some structural damage.
Yeah.
So
plug them leaks, boys. We a boat now.
Yeah. But that pilot's a fucking hero.
Oh yeah, he is. Hell yeah.
So he got like a good amount of soldiers out of the water and onto the plane, and I can only imagine that the people that were on the floats, sitting there, I'm pretty sure the sharks were coming up and looking at them.
Oh yeah.
That's just terrifying.
It is, dude.
I'd like to see a movie made about this, and they did make one. It came out in 2016, where Nicolas Cage played Captain McVay, and I've seen it. It's not that good of a movie, though.
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, he played Captain McVay.
Ugh, dude, he's so over the top. I can't imagine him doing that.
No, he was kind of mellow in this movie, and it could have been really good. It just wasn't.
Okay.
But I mean, I wish they would like throw the money at the Indianapolis, throw half the money at Indianapolis that they threw at Titanic.
Well, you got to get James Cameron into it, and it'll happen as soon as he's done. As soon as he's done making his Avatar fucking saga
that nobody's watching.
Dude, it's on, what is it? It's on Max now and Disney Plus, dude. I haven't watched it yet.
It's on Disney Plus.
It's on Disney Plus now.
I might watch it. I might watch it just because.
I mean, dude, I want to see it because I'm curious.
But I don't think you can top that first one, and the ratings that movie got. It's apparently that's the case. It doesn't come anywhere near the first one.
Yeah,
the first one was really good.
Dude, I mean, I'm okay, going off topic, but
bloobs.
Bloobs. And ponytail sex.
Yeah. Anyway,
dude, I've been like, everybody's like really hating the new Indiana Jones movie.
Is it out?
It comes out tomorrow.
Really? I'm gonna watch it.
I'll watch it. I'll wait.
I'll wait till it's like $5 to stream.
Yeah. However, okay, like all these people that I follow on YouTube are fucking just totally bashing it because they hate what Disney's done to everything that they've done. And I'm like, dude, what's the problem? And dude, I heard a commercial for it coming home today, dude. And like, it's like critics are praising this movie, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I've heard. I've heard it's terrible. But you know, dude, like I said, though,
yeah,
I mean, dude, I got into this shit when the new Star Wars movies came out, the Disney Star Wars movies, and everybody was bashing it because, oh, it's woke. Oh, Rey just knows how to do everything. She's a Mary Sue or whatever they fucking call that. I mean, I didn't care.
Yeah.
But that's how I started following all these people, because I was like, yeah, okay, I get that. And yeah, the storyteller wasn't so good, but dude, it's fucking J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson. What do you expect?
Yeah. I mean, J.J. Abrams did the Star Trek.
That we shall never speak of.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might speak about it one day.
Yeah. So.
But not here. Anyway, sorry. No. I digress. Moving on.
So while they were waiting for ships to arrive, more planes came by and they were dropping survival gear, rafts, water, food, stuff like that. Unfortunately, they would drop kegs of water. They were wooden kegs.
Oh, Jesus! Let me guess, they broke on impact.
Yeah, but
hey, at least they tried.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you'd think they could have flown in like really low or something and just dropped it.
Yeah. Dude, that just comes down to physics, dude. I mean, I don't know how big these kegs were, but if it was like a
beer keg. So, ships began coming and getting the sailors out of the water. The first ship that arrived was the USS Doyle. And the captain, it arrived at night, and the captain did something very dangerous, and he put the searchlight up in the sky. You know, but that could tip off Japanese as to their location.
Oh yeah. Yeah, nothing like saying, here we are.
Yeah, like send out the bat signal. But the captain at the Doyle, he did it, to let the people, because the survivors were so spread out and everything, he didn't let them know, hey, help is here.
Yeah.
Just hold on a little bit longer.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did it for the right reason, but at the same time. Yeah.
God, can you imagine if another freaking sub had come through during that point?
Oh yeah.
God, that would make it even. If that had happened, we would have never known about this story.
Yeah.
That it would have been buried so far underneath. It never would have. I mean.
Well, like I said at the beginning or whatever, near the beginning, it smells like a cover-up to me.
But
anyway, that's just me.
The first order of business was to get the people off of the seaplane, and they had to sink the seaplane due to all of its damage that it had sustained.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, it couldn't get it. Yeah. All right. That makes sense.
So once the Doyle had gotten everybody that it could, it took off, and the sailors were given water, food, showers, and beds. The next ship was the USS Bassett, and this, I'd love to see this played out and on a movie screen. But they also kept the searchlight on, but for the same reason that the Doyle did. But the captain of the Bassett had to be removed from command because he didn't want to go into the area. He was a coward.
Holy shit.
It's like, I'm not going in there. I'm not taking my ship into that area. I don't want to get torpedoed. Well, you could get torpedoed from where you're sitting at now with your fucking searchlight on, you dumbass.
Wow.
God. For every story of valor, there's a story of cowardice.
Yeah.
So
his crew basically mutinied, but not really.
Basically. No, but the XO took his place and he was confined to his quarters. And then even more survivors were rescued. But
good for the XO.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude, I can't. Holy shit!
I mean that pisses me off too.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit. It really did. I kind of saw a little bit of red when I came to that part. I was just like, "What? Are you fucking kidding me?"
I know, right, dude? Yeah.
Thank God you joined the Navy because you would have sucked as an infantryman.
Oh, Jesus. That's another Heartbreak Ridge flashback for me right there.
Well, what about, God, this happened in the Revolutionary War, the general that just hightailed it out of there on a horse as fast as he could. Whatever.
Dude, the only one I know of that was actually like the traitor was Benedict Arnold.
No, this guy wasn't a traitor. He was just a pussy. It's depicted in the movie The Patriot, but it's
we're not allowed to talk about that movie.
We're not? Why? Because it says Patriot?
No, because Mel Gibson's in it.
Oh, okay.
And he's an anti-Semite, so we can't talk about that.
Freedom!
Yeah, the most historically inaccurate movie ever made.
No shit.
But I still love that movie.
Yeah, I do too.
I'll say it.
Yeah. So some men were completely black because they had oil like all over them and stuck to them because it had like mixed with the salt water and basically solidified. 5 more ships came and they got all the survivors that they could find. And some of the sailors weren't even able to climb up these, the ladders to get aboard these ships because they were too weak. Rescue personnel, even they got into the shark infested waters and they helped them up. Lots of sailors were so, their skin was so loose and weak that oh
God,
it would just rip off like down to the bone.
Oh God, yeah, dude, I knew where that was going. Holy crap! Oh, dude, that makes
yeah. I mean, it's
those poor guys. Those poor. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Captain McVay was rescued, and he was in bad shape, but he insisted that all of his people be taken care of before he was.
All right. No, that's what a captain does.
Yeah.
That's what a captain does.
But afterwards, the survivors weren't allowed to tell anyone about what happened, about the fact that the Indianapolis had been sunk until after it was officially announced and the Navy's cover story was in place.
See? Cover up.
Yep. So on August 6th, the U.S. dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and the survivors found out, that was when the survivors found out exactly what they had been carrying.
Ooh.
On August 9th, Nagasaki was bombed and Japan surrendered and World War II was over. And on the day that Japan surrenders, the newspapers ran a story of their surrender and the nuking and all that stuff. And it had also been announced on that day that the Indianapolis had been sunk.
So that they waited till we won.
Yeah. But they had to come up with their cover story, which we're getting to right now.
Yep.
Captain McVay was made the scapegoat. This whole thing it ruined his life. He was labeled as incompetent, and that the whole thing was being put on him. It was his fault.
Mm-hmm.
the survivors were brought to Guam to give their statements, and they were all given Purple Hearts and showered with steaks and ice cream and everything else and everything. They're given the hero's treatment, and they were put onto an aircraft carrier and sent to San Diego to later go home. And there was a parade for them when they got there, and the survivors were like, why did we get a parade? All we did was lose a ship.
Right.
But, and it was part of the cover-up.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, the story had shifted, and they were going after McVay really hard, and they even brought Commander Hashimoto over to testify against him.
Holy shit.
I mean,
Yeah, I did not know that.
It's fucking infuriating.
You know, see, this is the kind of stuff that, I mean, dude, when I went to school, we actually learned stuff. When you went to, we learned stuff. Right. But they didn't teach us this stuff.
Nope. Well, they didn't teach us anything about the Indianapolis that I can recall. I first found out about the Indianapolis from Jaws.
Yeah, me too, to be honest with you. But, you know, whatever. Government, top secret, shit like that.
But one thing about the Quint story in Jaws was the fact that, I mean, Hooper knew about it when he brought it up. He was just like, oh man, I'm sorry. Damn. Yeah. But Brody is just like, yeah, and what happened? He had no clue. He had no clue about it. You know, and I think that was done intentionally too by Spielberg. You know, just to kind of shine a light on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it was.
Yeah. Just like, okay, there are people out there that don't have a fucking clue about the Indianapolis, which is why we're doing this episode right now in light of all this Titanic bullshit.
Well, you know, don't take that the wrong way, because there were people on that crappy makeshift submersible that lost their lives. We're not making light of the loss that has happened.
Making light of these people that are just so obsessed with anything and everything Titanic.
Yeah.
And just for whatever reason, I mean, it was a tragic shipwreck and everything. Do I need a freaking little statue of the Titanic on my mantle? No, I don't.
Well, you know, yeah.
No, if I got one, I'd break it in two and turn one end around.
And have them on either side of the room.
Yeah.
Because the halves of the Titanic are like way far apart.
Yeah.
But you know, dude, I mean, and honestly, and I'm not trying to blame the people that got aboard that little sub to go down there and look at it. I mean,
no, they were fed a line of bullshit. It was safe.
But see, here's the thing though, dude. If I'm paying $250,000 to go down on this sub to see the Titanic, and I show up and I see this rinky-dink thing that's controlled by a game controller, like an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
And then there's no seats in it.
Refund, please.
I'd be like, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. I'll give fucking Bezos my $250,000 and go up into space, because that shit works.
Yeah, I mean, there was one guy that did just that. He saw the thing. He's like, I'm not getting on that.
Yeah.
There was one guy. It would have been 6 people.
Dude, I heard an interview with the owner of that company, Ocean Gate or whatever, dude. He's like, well, you know, a lot of the parts we got from an RV fucking store. And I'm like, do you not realize the pressure at those depths, and you're buying parts for this thing from an RV store?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I heard it on the radio. Somebody could have been bullshitting. I don't know.
It could have been fake news. Who knows?
But yeah, no, everybody said no, it was controlled by a fucking like Xbox controller. That's how you went down. I mean, dude, it couldn't get out anywhere on its own. It had to be like, well, obviously submersibles are carried by boats. But this thing had its own platform that would launch out, that would take it out, and it would go under. And I mean, you know,
so like
there's just so many red flags going on with that.
There was more technology on that than there was on the actual sub.
Yeah, on the little platform that sailed it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
dude, it's just. Dude, I hope that company and everybody that's involved in it goes to jail for a very long time. I really do.
I do too.
Because they had no idea what they were doing. Not a clue.
No. I mean,
anyway.
I can't build a boat in my backyard and then trailer it over to the water and charge people to take rides on it. Yeah. I can't do that. The boat would have to be like completely inspected and cleared, and I'd have to have a license to pilot, to captain that boat.
Yeah, I got you.
If I'm going to bring paying customers on board.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and it's just like that, this whole thing with the submersible, I think he just didn't care about that aspect of it.
No. I mean, and the thing is too, I've heard this too. So, I mean, I hate saying, well, I heard, but anyway, the thing was based on another sub, more or less. But that sub was built to set a record, use once, and then be done. This sub that these people went down in had been used multiple times, and nobody went and checked for any kind of stress because it was like carbon. It was 5 layers of carbon fiber over what, aluminum or titanium or something, dude. That's not going to hold up to those pressures.
I would take that sub if I was going to go off of off of like.
Yeah, dude. If you're going on like 100 feet of water, yeah.
Jupiter, Fort Pierce, to look for treasure or something.
Yeah, as long as you're not going too deep. I mean, dude, it's 80,000 pounds per square inch at the depth of the Titanic, or something like that.
I know, and it didn't even make it halfway down before it.
Yeah,
imploded
because it wasn't made for that
beer can. No.
Anyway, we digress.
It's like taking a fucking canoe whitewater rafting.
Yeah. Well, people do that shit in little one-man kayaks, but yeah, a canoe now.
A kayak, yes.
That's a different story, but yeah, a canoe now because you'll just sink
or flip.
Well, dude, you can flip in a you go whitewater rafting, you can flip in that too, real easy if you're not careful.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, kayaks are made to flip and then come back up. Yeah. I mean, you're trained to use the paddles to get you back up. If a canoe flips, you're done.
If a canoe flips, I mean, it's still going to float. It's not going to sink. It'll still float, but it's not going to turn back over.
No, if you turn it back over, it's going to be full of water. Exactly.
So,
dude, the only thing though, I mean, even though it's terrible what happened to those people in that sub, the Titan or whatever, at least they didn't know what happened to them.
Right.
It was so fast, they had no idea.
Right.
I mean, if it had been like the stories, they still got 40 hours worth of air. Yeah, but they don't got no food. Yeah. They got probably don't have any water to drink. I mean, they're not going to make it no matter what. I mean, could you imagine that? Like just slow. I mean, the agonizing death of slowly running out of air.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it's like I said, dude, I mean, I'm glad it was over quick for them. And so they didn't suffer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because, dude, fucking, we're still alive.
Yeah. So,
anyway,
the fact that they brought Commander Hashimoto over to testify against McVay, that pissed off the survivors, and rightfully so.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, McVay was being brought up on 2 charges: failed to give proper abandoned ship orders, and for hazarding the ship. Now, the failure to give proper abandoned ship orders charge was thrown out because he had done the best he could under the circumstances because the shipwide communications had been knocked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just hit with 2 fucking torpedoes.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that, due to stupid regulations, a ship couldn't be heavily armed and heavily armored
Right? Oh, God. Yeah, dude, see.
But then again, if it was heavily armed and heavily armored, it wouldn't have been able to make it from San Francisco to Pearl Harbor in 72 hours.
No. I mean, dude,
it's just a situation where fucking accidents happen, and sometimes when accidents happen, there's really nobody to blame unless you want to get down into the nitty gritty about it and just admit that, this is basically, folly by the Navy.
Yeah. Well, the higher ups denied him a destroyer escort. So, the higher ups are trying to, they're scapegoat, hey, I didn't fuck up. Yeah. I didn't say they couldn't take destroyers with them.
Yeah, but they should have, it's going to get even more infuriating.
Yeah, I don't doubt it one bit.
But the hazarding the ship charge remained, and he was being blamed because he wasn't putting the Indianapolis in a zigzag formation, which was required in enemy waters. Now this is interesting. They brought Hashimoto over to testify against McVay, but he testified for McVay. I mean, he's just like, fuck y'all. You know what it's like to be out there in war? No, you don't. Fuck you.
Wow. All right. I did not expect that to come in, but okay.
Hashimoto said that there was no way that the Indianapolis would have been able to escape him, whether he was zigzagging or not. Remember when I said that they fired 6 torpedoes, but only 2 hit?
Yeah.
He had fired a spread. And
he was counting on the zigzag pattern.
Exactly. So he fired as a spread, expecting the Indianapolis to zigzag. And that's why 4 of them missed, because they were fired in order to hit a ship that was zigzagging.
Yeah.
He actually testified that this wasn't my fault. I was going to hit that ship was mine.
Yeah. It was going to get hit no matter what happened.
Yeah.
We know what you guys do. We're on to you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude. Wow. Didn't see that coming.
No.
And probably neither did the brass, the military guys. Yeah, they probably didn't see that coming either. They probably didn't expect him to fucking just go, wow, you guys have no fucking clue, do you?
The prosecutor puts him on the stand and is just like, all right, yeah. Hey, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. He's like, nah, I'd have hit him no matter what.
Yeah.
I put so many fish in the water, he was going to get hit.
Raise him up for Hashimoto because that guy was that was a
badass move, brother.
Yep, that was valor. That's what that was.
Yep.
That was valor and respect among opponents.
Yes, it was.
But the Navy, McVay had a great record as a captain in the Navy. But the Navy, they can't have egg on their face. And
no, of course not.
Even though it was them that had refused to give a destroyer escort, a destroyer escort, if they had a destroyer escort, honestly, I think that the escort would have gone down too.
Yeah, probably.
From the strategic point to where Hashimoto had them and the conditions and everything, the fact that it was dark. But no, maybe not, because the destroyer would have had sonar.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
And they would have had like they would have had sonar. They would have heard him.
They would have heard him coming.
And they would have intercepted and started dropping depth charges.
Yep. So yeah, this is on the Navy. This ain't on McVay.
Yeah, but can't be on the Navy. They got to have a scapegoat.
Yep. So
anyway,
and also not to mention the fact that the ship was logged present at port when it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, there's that.
Yeah, and even though 3 distress signals had been sent, which were ignored.
Yeah. So Quinn was wrong about that, though. Quinn said that no distress signal had been sent. But I guess if he was in the water, he wouldn't know.
Yeah, he wouldn't have known. But also this came out after, the Jaws came out prior to when they really started digging into this too.
Yeah.
So, but So basically the Navy's saying, fuck you, McVay, you incompetent chump. You got that ship sank and all those people killed.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't us. We had nothing to do with it.
The Navy lost over 300 ships in World War II. And McVay was the only captain ever to be brought up on charges, and he was found guilty of negligence.
Oh, Jesus. That's fucking terrible, man.
It's going to get worse.
All right.
Like I said, McVay's life was ruined by all of this, and he would get hate mail from family members of sailors who didn't survive.
Wow.
Yeah. But many of the survivors and other Navy officers rallied Congress to get McVay exonerated. Even the captain of the sub Indianapolis. There was a U.S. sub named Indianapolis, and basically they were at Pearl Harbor for a reunion and everything, and the captain of the Indianapolis sub happened to be there, and one of the survivors walked up and was just like, okay, well, you're the Indianapolis was being decommissioned on top of the reunion for the survivors.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the people, one of the survivors walked up to this captain of the Indianapolis sub and says, hey, your ship is a great ship and everything. It's great to be decommissioned. He says, but the captain of the other Indianapolis needs you.
Oh,
so he got on board.
Good for him.
The Navy, I didn't think this story would be this rough.
Yeah, we started out having so much fun, and now it's just gone to all serious.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting to that part, though. I mean, it has to.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this story. I mean, I knew the story would, be emotional and everything, but I didn't think that the really emotional part of it would come after the fact.
Yeah, right.
After the fact of the sinking, but here we are.
Yep.
But the Navy finally admitted that they made a bad call, but they weren't going to change the ruling.
Why?
Because the Navy can't have egg on their face.
Yeah, but still, though, I mean, dude, admitting you made a bad call, you might as well just fucking exonerate the guy.
I know.
You already said you fucked up. Oh, God, all right.
Several U.S. senators forced this into the chambers, and it was voted on that McKay did nothing. McKay. Why do I keep calling him McKay?
I don't know.
McVay did nothing wrong, and he was not guilty. The Senate voted on this.
Okay.
And this measure was signed into law by President Bill Clinton, and Charles McVay was exonerated.
Oh. Well, that's good that he was, but why Slick Willie? Why did Slick Willie have to do
it? Slick Willie he definitely not the worst president this country's ever had.
All right. Yeah, you got a point.
And in fact, it's just like when you think about it, I mean, he was just maybe even slightly above average in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Slightly above average?
Slightly above average, maybe. I don't know.
But this exoneration was posthumous.
Well, of course, so he never knew it.
On November 6th of 1968, Captain Charles McKay, dressed in his dress uniform, went into his backyard and shot himself in the head with his service revolver.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting hate mail from, the family members.
And he did nothing wrong.
Nope.
Oh, geez.
So, on top of this story, the Indianapolis was involved in 10 naval battles during World War II. And it was actually anchored in the water during the Battle of Iwo Jima. There were survivors that had actually said that, it's just like, look at this. They actually saw through binoculars when the flag was raised on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they was like, they raised a flag. So what? They didn't realize the significance of the event.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of historical irony there.
Yeah, no shit. Holy crap.
But lots of people, including us, we first learned of the Indianapolis from Jaws.
Yes, we did.
And lots of the survivors were glad that the movie, that Spielberg had included the Indianapolis. Because at that time, that was literally the first mention of the Indianapolis. Like, it was an afterthought, because it was obviously overshadowed by the nuking of Japan and the and the war being over. So I mean, yeah, I get it, but still, I mean, damn. I mean, the History Channel doesn't even, it's like they go all about World War II. Where the fuck is the what the fuck is the 5 episode series on the Indianapolis?
Yeah, like the History Channel does real history. Anyway,
it's Hitler and aliens. That's it.
And mermaids.
And UFOs.
Yeah. Well, you covered that with aliens, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, Skinwalker Ranch and the bullshit fucking Oak Island thing and whatever.
So Commander Hashimoto initially didn't know what had happened to the Indianapolis, and I think I touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
He had sank a ship and it was war. But when he learned the details of what the sailors had gone through, he suffered depression and guilt, and he resigned from the military. And he even became an anti-war activist. He met with the survivors of the Indianapolis, and they buried the hatchet and forgave each other.
Good. See, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude, you were doing your job, we were doing our job.
Yep.
Yeah,
he died. He died in 1991.
What was his name? I don't want to say
Hashimoto.
it wrong. Hashimoto. He died in 91?
Yeah. So he lived a long life.
Man.
Several sailors have requested that when they die, they be cremated and have their ashes scattered at sea where the Indianapolis went down. And a couple of them have had this happen. There's actually video footage of them out there with, on a sub, basically pouring the ashes. Get 21 gun salute and, dump the ashes and.
Oh yeah. A proper burial at sea.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's all I got.
All right. I mean, no, that was a good story. There was a lot of information there that I didn't know. Yeah,
same here. I mean, I knew some about the Indianapolis and everything, but I didn't know. I knew that McVay had been the scapegoat, but I didn't know the nitty gritty details of everything and just how frickin', how the Navy is guilty of just basically slander. And ultimately, his suicide is on their hands.
Yeah, it is. It totally is because they fucking railroaded this poor guy.
Yeah,
and they did it on purpose. They knew they were doing it because we, like you said, the higher ups, we can't make any mistakes. We didn't make any mistakes. We didn't tell them we didn't tell them to go there without an escort. We didn't tell them to do that.
I mean,
that dude in this admiral that was fucking drunk off his ass and didn't want to be bothered with the first fucking distress call or whatever.
Yeah, why wasn't he brought up on any charges?
Yeah, well, because he's a fucking admiral.
Yeah.
And he's probably the one that told him, "Now you don't need an escort." I mean, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. But
anyway,
yeah, that's kind of a departure from what we usually cover. But I mean, under the circumstances, I had to. I mean, I was just like, no, everybody's in their fucking minds about Titanic, blah blah blah, Titanic this, Titanic that, and you want a much more tragic story. You love the story of a maritime disaster.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, here you go. Here's the USS Indianapolis, and I would be willing to bet that probably 80% of these people that gush over the Titanic, that they're just so freaking, it's like, oh my God, Titanic, I love the Titanic story. They probably have no clue about
no idea. Yep.
No clue about the fucking Indianapolis.
Well, hopefully our nearly 1,000 followers on whatever will know about it now.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think that our listeners already knew about Indianapolis.
Well, yeah. I mean,
our listeners are smart, unlike us.
Unlike us. Yeah. Dude, no, they're smart. They're like, dude, listen to these idiots. They have to be smart to listen to us.
I'm smart, but I like these idiots. They're lovable losers.
Yeah, if you only knew.
Dude, I think that I came up with something.
All right.
Okay, Morbid, they call their listeners weirdos.
Okay.
Time Suck calls their listeners meat sacks.
Meat sacks.
Mental Illness Theater, our buddy Mark. And Peter, they call them sick and twisted fucks.
All right.
I've come up with something we can call our listeners.
Okie dokie.
And it has to do with the last two episodes.
All right.
Take a guess.
The last two episodes. All right. What, like the CKCB Mafia?
No,
probably better than that.
Yeah, but you're on the right track.
I don't know. Let it rip, tater chip. I don't know.
Wise guys.
Wise guys.
What do you think?
I think that might have. I like it, but at the same time, dude, that might offend our female listeners. And wise people just doesn't have the same thing. So wise guys, it is.
What's up, wise guys? Well,
maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, if you look at it from this point of view, if you you can be talking to like a group of people, men and women. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
So
no, dude. I mean, people like me and you do that shit all the time. But,
right.
The world we live in isn't the world that we grew up in. So.
Yeah, true. Okay.
But, whatever, dude. No, dude, I like wise guys. So I say let's run with it until we start getting a shit ton of hate mail. Then we'll figure something else out.
Okay. All right. I do like wise guys.
Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, we'll run with that until something else happens.
Okay.
Anywho.
Or if we come up with a better one, like even if nobody gets triggered by, us calling everybody wise guys, even if nobody gets triggered by that and people kind of like it and all that stuff, then if we come up with something better later, then we'll just replace it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Like, dude, let's not fucking jump off any bridges till we get to them.
Yes. So
anyway,
wise guys, or does the search continue?
Wise guys for now. Why not?
Okay. Yeah, I like wise guys. So wise guys, follow us on social media. All the links are in the description on the episode notes and everything. And if you liked us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy. And thanks a hell of a lot for listening. I mean, we know you guys are. We know you guys are listening. We know it. We see it. We see it in the in our stats and everything. We're on a good trajectory. And
I know, right? Who would have thought?
I was talking with a podcaster. I'm not going to name the podcast, but I was talking with a podcaster on I'd say a B-list podcast. I think we're C or D. But
yeah, we're still at the bottom of the alphabet, but yeah, it's all good.
I would say that if we're somewhere between C and D, we're closer to C than we are to D.
We're a D plus.
Yeah.
We're like 64%.
A C sharp augmented 7th.
Just go C-. We'll say C-.
I like C minor better.
Yeah, of course you do. Oh. And you know, I should too, because we're fucking musicians, but you know.
Right. I don't want
chords don't really count to the fucking tier level.
I don't want to be D minor, even though it is truly the saddest of all keys.
It is the saddest of all keys.
But C minor. Well,
so what's this one called?
Huh?
So what's this one called?
Lick my love pump.
Jesus. How did it get to there? But yeah, it went there. We did it. We fucking did it. Anyway.
And yeah. Anyway, wise guys, thanks for listening. Seriously, we appreciate the hell out of it.
We do.
And we want to keep doing this for a long ass time, and eventually some of those big dogs are going to decide they don't want to do it anymore. And when that happens, we're right there waiting.
Yes.
I'm kidding. Last podcast on the left and time suck. I'm kidding.
Yeah. When you guys give up, we'll become a B minor.
Yeah. So.
Fuck me. Anyway,
until next week. Later.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.